Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna kind of, have a twofer. We're gonna talk about some comic art that I'm gonna unbox, and then we are going to talk about some comics that I read in July that I want to recommend, or at least put on some people's radars, because these are books that might not be on the radar. I've talked about some of them in the past, but just want to kind of confirm that they are still quite good. So, right, so we're gonna start off. Let's we're going to open up a piece of comic art, and it's something that I don't do often. And it's an envelope that came in the mail, and it's the rage these days. There's a sketch card in here, so I'm gonna open this up, talk about why I picked this one up, and then we'll go from there. Get this opened up. This is great. Looks like a bit of tissue box was used to to keep this sketch card sturdy on the way here. It's also in a top loader. So, but what I have is as confirmed in the back of here, this is a genuine Fred Hembeck sketch card. Now I've opened one sketch card from Fred in the past, and it was a Jonah Hex card that I have, and this one I wasn't even looking at what his current auctions were, but a friend of mine reached out and said, "Hey, did you see this one?" And I hadn't, but so I put a bid in, and the bid ended up winning. So yeah, it is Spider-Man 2099. There's certain characters that I always will love seeing, and will always take me back to a very memorable time in my life, early to mid 90s. There were certain characters, like I always talk about Death and Return of Superman, but also Spider-Man 2099 was a comic that I actually had a subscription to, and in the mail there's I still buy as many toys as I can of the character, and they're in the cubes in the display case underneath this Superman. There's a cube full of Spider-Man 2099 stuff. I got this because I like having, you can see there's a Death of Superman card there. I like having cards in the display as well. Just kind of, it varies the display, breaks it up so it's not all full of action figures. There's various things that I have in there. There's some video games and just things that make the display a little more interesting. And this is a card that just makes perfect sense to add it to the display, which I will do. So that's that. That's the art out of the way. Now we're going to jump into some comics that I read in July. They're maybe not the ones that you're expecting me to talk about, like Transformers, G.I. Joe, Void Rivals, all this stuff in the Energon universe. I'm continuing to read those, very much enjoying them. But these are other series that, we'll start off with this one. It's a one shot, but part of an anthology, and it's the Godzilla versus America, the Godzilla versus Boston issue came out a couple weeks ago. And now, if you remember, the art I opened a while ago was the Jesse Lonergan variant cover that I won in an auction, but this finally came out. This issue is a good way to pick up a fun comic if you want to pick up one individual comic. The only thing is it's $7.99, so it's a little pricey, but it's an anthology. Has a bunch of different, I think 4 separate stories in here. One by Hayden Sherman and one by Jesse Lonergan. Those are the 2 main stories that I bought the issue for. It's a good way to showcase artists and what they're doing right now. And if you don't want to pick up, Absolute Wonder Woman or Batman Dark Patterns and do a full series, if you just want to get a flavor of what these artists are about and what they're doing, that's a nice way to do it. And who doesn't love Godzilla? But both of those stories I enjoyed, the Hayden Sherman and the Jesse Lonergan stories, and then I would recommend picking that one up. And I have 4 other comics I want to talk about. Let's do this one first. The only other one shot that is in the list. The other 3 are ongoing. The other 3 are miniseries. This is a book called The Goddamn Tragedy, written by Chris Condon, and art was by Sean Kuraniru. Not someone I was familiar with. I just saw that it was a Western set story. It's told through these really kind of beautiful watercolor images and I'm a sucker for a Western set story. And what it is there's essentially it's a loosely based on real events, but also not. I would say loosely based on like the story of the Donner Party, and there is some of the elements of the Donner Party story that are very famous. They are in this book, but it's a story about a family that's setting out west, and they're trying to find a shortcut to get to California. They're offered a shortcut to get to California faster than the others to kind of stake their claim, but there are risks that come with that shortcut. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It's kind of, there's some horror elements to it. I really enjoy the art style in this. There's a certain charm to it that when added the elements of the horror and the grotesque, but still drawn with that style, that's very appealing, and I like that. I found myself really enjoying that combination. So yeah, this was just a one shot, just a single issue put out by Oni Press, and yeah, that was quite good. This is issue 3 of Exquisite Corpses. This is, I believe, a 12-issue series, given the nature of the story. Written by, it's Pornsak Pishashote. I always get his name wrong, but there's art in here. It looks like it's shared art duties by Valentine Delandro and Michael Walsh. Michael Walsh did the art for the first 2 issues, and then it looks like there's some shared duties in this one. We've talked about the first 2 issues. The 3rd issue continues to be intriguing, continues to be fun. It's the small town that's blocked off, and is the setting for this tournament to determine who controls the shadow government side of the U.S. There are 12 families representing 12 states. They each have a killer that has been let loose in the town, and the main objective is to have one last remaining killer standing. But along the way, the killers are awarded bonus points for killing citizens. So that it's about the citizens slowly figuring out what's going on, and you get the 12 heads of the family. They have their own interactions and motives for what's going on in the tournament. And yeah, I have a feeling that might be one eventually that would be really fun to read as a collected edition. But I will say, reading it month to month, there have been things that I've enjoyed about it. So you could read that month to month and still enjoy it. Next one we'll talk about is News from the Fallout #2. That came out, written by Chris Condon and Jeffrey Allen Love. This issue continues there was the story of a military outpost that was subjected to some nuclear testing. There were some soldiers that were targeted and tested on, and there was a very grotesque mutation. There are mutations that happen to those soldiers, and now the word is slowly getting out to the townspeople. There's one survivor of the initial attack on the base. This person got out and got to a diner trying to tell people about what's going on. They don't necessarily believe him, and then the events come to them, and the warning that he was trying to give them came to fruition, and you see some of the events of that happen, and they're slowly like, oh, okay, this guy's telling the truth. But yeah, visually, this is a striking comic. Here, let's see. So it's told all through, like, most of the characters it's all through silhouettes. So it's a very graphic design, heavy graphical, black and white. And yeah, it's very striking. It sets it apart from almost anything else that you're going to read right now on the shelves. And anytime you can do that, that's a worthwhile read. And it's actually good. It's not just different to be different. It's interesting. And that's what, I've talked about it before. Those are the kind of things that I'm looking for in comics right now. I want to see something that I haven't seen before, something that is still interesting and is, has its hooks in me, and very much the case here. So yeah, News from the Fallout. It's a 6-issue miniseries, so that's one I definitely would recommend checking out. Now we're going to talk about a book that I still don't think enough people are talking about, and it's incredibly interesting. And it's Assorted Crisis Events. This is number 5. Came out last week, 2 weeks ago, and I finally just read it last week. I had it for a little bit because I was behind, and these issues. Whenever I have extra time to read comics, is usually at night when I'm tired. But these issues require your full attention, and that's why I had to wait to read it. But when I did, yeah, man. So. Dennis Camp, writer, Eric Zawadzki is the artist, Jordi Belair on colors, and again, this is a series that is it's set during these crisis events that we are all that we know all about in comics. How does this affect the everyday person? Each issue there are if there's some social commentary in each of the issues so far. So if that's like not something you want in your comics, then it's maybe not the comic for you. But if you're looking for something a little more, topical, this is absolutely worth checking out. Now, in this one is just layouts. I can't get over how visually interesting and striking this issue was. This may have been my favorite issue of the series thus far, just for the simple fact of the layouts, the way that it's told. So the premise is it's this little girl who was stuck in the same 60-second loop, a very traumatic event in her childhood. I think she was 13 at the time. And then she relived that 60 seconds for the equivalent of what was like millions of years is what that was described as. And, then she does come out of it eventually, and then she continues on her life. And she experienced this thing that was stuck in this time loop for such a long time and experienced this same traumatic event over and over and over again. And then once she's finally out of it, 60 seconds have passed for everyone else, and she has had this traumatic experience, and then it's how do you carry on from there, and how do you looking for answers to what happened, why it happened, and dealing with the fact that, again, no one believes what she was trying to say. How do you go to therapy and try to get past these traumatic events when no one even believes you that what you were describing is even possible? And yeah, it's just super, super intriguing. And each page, there's a lot of things that represent the time loop that she was in. And here's like layouts like this are incredibly amazing. And you can read them. That's the other thing. You can read it in almost any order too. Some pages, definitely there is a flow that you follow to get the precise narrative. But a lot of it is just random word boxes that you could read in almost any order, and it's still the message of the comic still comes through, and that's, again, super interesting. So it would not surprise me if next year when the Eisners come out, if you talk about best single issue, if one of these issues show up on that list. I'd be shocked if it wasn't this one. Recommend this enough. Like I said, probably not for everyone, but if you're looking for something different, that is different, and it's freaking fantastic. So yeah, definitely recommend that. I did read other things in July, but I have been whittling the list down, just trying to not read as much, trying to not be locked into weekly purchases. I'll still continue to read some of the Ghost Machine stuff, all the Energon Universe things. The other stuff that I'm kind of interested in are the miniseries type stuff, so that it won't be a long-term buy. But I'm sure there will be other miniseries that pop on my radar, and those are the kind of things that I want to keep reading and discussing. So anyway, thank you very much for watching this one, and I will see you soon.